Hello and welcome everyone to a Sacred Symbols reading. I'm your host, Desiree DeMars. It is Saturday, June 17th, 2023. And I invite all of you who are interested to check my website, my latest news posts. The other thing you may be interested in is I have more details about this reading posted below the recording. And if anybody's interested in a one-on-one reading or a group reading, I love doing those, and those are available through my website, DesireeDemars.com. Ancient Wisdom Meets Neuroscience. So just a few words about this Gemini new moon that's kicking off this tomorrow morning, or this evening, 12:32 a.m. And I know most of you watching something like this already are familiar with astrology enough to know that full moon is a time for planting seeds, creating something new, putting focus on your intention of what you want to see come into fulfillment with the new moon, or the full moon that will follow in about 2 weeks. And it's a new time I just made a few notes here, to really be able to go within and notice what's going on emotionally for us, because it's a time of introspection with the darkness of the moon. So just think of that. Think of the sense of introspection versus the ego self that's related to the sun. And Gemini in particular brings awareness right now to what is needing to be finished, completed, closed out. And then it's amplifying this idea of our mindset that is looking in this reflection, in this internal perspective. We're looking at what no longer serves and identifying that so we can let that go and make room for the new. And then let me see if there was anything else I noted. Yeah, and then because it's Gemini, just note that you might be sensing, Gemini is the twins, so you might be seeing both sides of something. I know I'm in the process of making a decision about something, and I go back and forth. I think I have clarity about it in one direction because of certain ways that I feel or see it. And then in a day or two, or it could shift in one day, I'll suddenly realize, well, there's things about the other side that are really appealing, or may accomplish or lend itself to something I am desiring an outcome for, or for a particular direction. And so then I'll notice my awareness goes there, and I'll say, well, gee, that's that I can see both sides. It's kind of like the idea of, I've said this many times before, it's like the saying of there are actually 3 sides to every coin, and that is front, back, and then the edge. And when you're on the edge, you're at this point of power. That's where we want to be, in this point of power, to see both sides and then make a clear decision, I would say from the heart, ideally. And so I know everybody's feeling incredible change, incredible transformation. And just know too, this is also a time that new information is coming in with new perspectives, and this Gemini new moon will give us the clarity that we need to make these adjustments, which is really great. Because ideally that's what we want, right? We want the clarity. And often I find, I see in others too, when I'm doing readings or shamanic healing work, that the clarity doesn't come from the mental activity that we have or the action necessarily, but it comes more from the internal aspect of the process. If we allow ourselves to reflect, to have time for introspection, have time for allowing insights to come to us. So with that said, let's do our usual invocation. So if you enjoy following along with that, get yourself settled in. Take a few breaths, really feel your chest expand. Take a good yawn if you need to, and really feel that lower part of the lung expanding. The part of the lungs which we often don't, we take shallow breaths. So, and I would say if you are not in a good space to sit upright right now, lying down is great too, because you can really let your chest open, spread your arms out, and feel yourself physically in the pose of receptivity, right? So just allow yourself that space to come into an awareness of your physical being right now, here where you are in the present moment. And take a couple of conscious breaths in through the nose. Hold. And then exhale through the mouth slowly, just as slowly as you breathed in. I already feel that kind of igniting a fire within me. Inhale and hold. And exhale. And relax. And just let any thoughts that were floating through the mind during the day before you got here to simply just drift past like a cloud in the sky. And know that those intentional breaths with the hold were activating the vagus nerve, and so relaxing the entire body from the head all the way down through the neck and shoulders, chest, belly, back, down into your sits bones, your hips, now your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, every single toe, relaxing, wiggling, spreading out, being receptive, tapping into that more feminine aspect of the self. And then imagining a brilliant white light coming down from the heavens and anchoring you all the way down, right through your central channel, down, down, down to the core of the earth. Feel that deep relaxation now merging with this sense of rooting, of anchoring itself down into the core, this iron molten core of Mother Earth, Pachamama. The fire, the passion, the vitality of life. Feel yourself mingling with that, and naturally you'll just feel it expanding up. It starts to fill up the space, flow up through your core, and it activates your own core, your own vital life force, which is in the iron of your blood, the hemoglobin, your immune system, your vitality to activate life force energies that keep you in a state of equilibrium, balancing things out for you. That fire that purifies, feel that purification flow up from the first, second, third, all the way up. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and white, spilling out over the top of the head and far beyond these 7 or 8 chakras. 9th, 10th, 11th, who knows how many levels or layers there are. Just feel yourself when this fountain of energy expands and explodes up through the crown of the head, now grounded into the earth. Feel a sensation. Just notice that this flow, this toroidal field that you've become aware of or are creating an energy flow consciously through, moving through this field, this toroid, this donut shaped, the fountain, which is, the donut is on the top and the bottom is representing the sensation, the flow, the hollow movement of being infinite and eternal. So feel that within yourself. The cells within you are infinite and eternal, and they're expanding and growing and healing and replicating and continuously finding homeostasis. You just feel that sensation of the body wisdom. The body knows. You are your own medicine. Be your own shaman through this experience we have together in reading the bones, tapping into our ancestors, tapping into a more expanded awareness, a super conscious field of energy, of information. So now that you feel that flowing, you'll notice not only did you have that beautiful divine white light, you've got this rainbow of light flowing through it, adding even more vitality, more abundance, more explosive, dynamic awareness in who you are, this light being, this piezoelectric field that you carry through the spark of your own bones, activated through the spark from your bones. This is also the importance of having your feet on the ground and doing something that grounds you and exercising. That's the beauty of exercise. It's free and it is potent and powerful, and it is what our body wants. Our body wants to move. It was created, it was generated to move, to expand and grow. It does not like being stagnant. So allow for this natural movement to be activated from within, expand out, flow infinitely and eternally. And as you feel that, imagine one more thing, this time a golden thread, a stream, or a ribbon of light. This golden thread that is a thread within you and a thread that is woven into all that is, everything. We're connected to everything. And this golden thread is acknowledging and tapping into the tapestry of this global or cosmic awareness that we are a part of, that we have come from, that we are stars, right? Well, the star that you are. So just feel that. So much of an invocation is just acknowledging that that is what we are seeing externally, but we are also embodying it internally. So feel this beautiful exchange of external and internal, and then become aware of your own expansiveness, your own superconscious knowing. And together, let's create a sacred circle. So I often don't verbalize this, but I always say it before I start, and when I make an offer onto the cloth before the reading, is I call in for guidance and protection. It might be a shield, it might be a film, it might be a bowl, however you visualize, possibly a guide, angel, teacher, or a force that can be there present for you for protection and healthy boundaries. I say what's mine is mine and what is yours is yours. And the more you say that on a regular basis, you will find that you'll realize you're not responsible for the other. Yes, we want to be compassionate and caring, but you can do that by simply being present and taking care of yourself first. So having healthy boundaries. I know I was married for many years, and unfortunately that person had incredibly deep narcissistic behavior. And we know narcissism comes from deep childhood wounding, maybe even past life trauma. So it's not always conscious how they act, what they do, but they are not looking out for the benefit of others. They are looking out just for the self, and they are manipulating others for that end game usually. So this is a beautiful way to just say what is mine, what is yours, and then feeling that shield or that boundary, that healthy boundary where you are giving back to them. In essence, it's like what's yours is yours, but what's mine is mine, and I stand in that presence and power of my own sovereignty, only responsible for the true self, the higher self. So feel that expand out into a sacred circle now that we are surrounding ourselves with in preparation for the reading. So let's call in all of the directions, the east, the south, the west, the north, above, below, and the middle. To all of the elementals, come and be with us along with the directions. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, ether, plasma, neutrinos, and gammas, and all those elements yet unknown to man. Come and be with us. Come and be with us, creating the sacred circle, sitting beside us in sacred ceremony. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. All of our guides, angels, teachers, guardians, the magical, the mystical, the seen, the unseen, the two-legged, the four-legged, the many-legged, the winged ones, the finned ones, the creepy crawlers, each having its perfect part in this this tapestry of life, right? Woven together, all interconnected, but each having their own individual purpose and reason for their existence, whatever that may be. And just know that it's enhancing all of our awarenesses, not just their own. We are all co-creating. So feel that beautiful sense of co-creation of a sacred circle. And now calling in all of your ancestors, those who've gone before you, lived a good life and transcended and are here working on your behalf. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. All of our ancestors, those who've gone before us, those we may not, whose names we may not know, but whose blood runs through our veins. Come and be with us. Come and be with us. We ask today that you give us guidance for this beautiful new moon in Gemini, allowing for us to know what it's time to release and let go of, to have a commitment to our own passion, and time for introspection to know and understand that and to manifest that in our daily life. Come and be with us. Bring us any guidance, wisdom, and understanding that will facilitate ease and grace in the letting go of what it is we need to let go of right now. And then take a moment and allow your heart to just well up, well open, expand out, and come into coherence with your brain. You might just feel tingles. I feel like tingling, like a little electrical current of creating heart coherence, so that whatever you are intending here and just holding within your heart is aligned with your mind too. The mind, the brain. We know the heart is the largest field of electromagnetic energy in our body, much greater than the mind. So allow the heart to expand out and bring the brain into coherence with it. And once we are bringing all of that together, we are grounding it into the feminine, and at the same time expanding out into the masculine and co-creating together at this heart center, right? This flow, the I am principle. So tap into your intention again for a moment. I for intention. A for attention. You're putting 100% of your attention on your heart, your desire, your desired outcome. And then M in the word am. I am. M is for motion, movement, the holo movement of all things, of what we now know is happening in our world, in our universe, in the cosmic collective, is we are spiraling through space. We're not just going around in circles, we're evolving. We are circulating, but we are spiraling through space faster than we can imagine, along with this cosmic life force around us, moving into an area called the photon belt, which we've never done before, that we're aware of. Probably most of us who, maybe this has happened before, but we have not lived through it. These generations that we're a part of. So just feel that and acknowledge that we are receiving information from and through the photon belt. How that is, what that is, we may not know exactly, but just know that this is a phenomena that we're all experiencing as a collective. So taking that into your own heart, your mind, your body, mind, and spirit. And I will rattle for a few seconds just to affirm that all that we understand come into and a deeper awareness of through this reading will not only benefit us from a place of ease and grace, but it will benefit all those we come in contact with simply by our presence of being in full faith. So be it. Aho. Okay, so just allowing that sound, that sensation of the rattling to bring you even deeper into an alpha beta state. Just know the brainwave frequencies are aligning with that sound, with that essence, with that energy. And then we will be taking 3 deep breaths and blowing into the basket together. Now taking 3 deep breaths together with that intention, that heart-filled intention that is aligned with the mind. Let me shake this up a little. It hasn't been shaken yet. Here we go. So that's interesting. Quite an interesting throw today. See what you notice. I don't seem to have my pointer. I don't know what I did with it. But so bear with me. I'll just be pointing with my fingers. And let's just take this in and notice what you see first or more prominently. I'm going to try to move the camera up a bit so that you can get a sense of the greater design here. So where I usually go first is the intention here. It's interesting how it's laid out. I'm sitting here. You would be sitting there. And so this this piece of coral, which is expanding itself out, reaching here's its feet, it's actually resting right on top of grandfather on your father's side. Your paternal grandfather, it's resting on that. And the coin that is setting on is this idea actually of communication, of Mercury. And then the other piece that's closest to you, which forgive me if this image is flipped over, it may be because of the camera, is your grandmother on your father's side, your paternal grandmother and your paternal grandfather. So that's interesting. And just what we said in the invocation is here's the shaman. Be your own medicine, be your own shaman. Call in the angelic forces. I would say that also, if that sounds a little too woo for you, you know, it could be all of those who are on the other side, right, across the veil, who've crossed over. And 5, it's about movement again. So just exactly what we were talking about with the Gemini influence. This is key, the movement, and also this idea of Venus. What is truth, love, and beauty for you? What do you cherish? What brings you joy? And focus on that. That creates so much more healing than focusing on what we don't want, right? And so this is allowing for a rebirth at this point in time for us. And it's saying that this rebirth that we're experiencing through the releasing and the letting go is all about the sacred, acknowledging the sacred in all things, this arched piece of shell, the sacred in all things on the earth. We have to come back around to this, that which is not yet created. And here is the grandfather on our mother's side, our maternal grandfather. And this is the other. So just notice if, for some of you, for women, if there has been a miscarriage, abortion, a loss of a child before it lived its full life, or it may be that it's just time to create something new and it is not yet in completion phase or not yet moved forward enough. So it is that which is not yet created. And so you've got both grandfathers here, right? Our grandfathers, maternal and paternal. And this is beautiful. So the spiritual journey that we're on, along with the other, maybe family members, could be someone you're married to, someone you work with. There's something shared here, like on the spiritual journey that we're on, and it has to do with the clearing of the mind or the mental, looking at the mental information or the mental data, or that mental activity, just looking at that and bringing that full circle, right? If you feel like maybe you feel like you've been running in circles and you're trying to figure something out, it's like get into alignment with the mind, allow the mind to just what we did in the invocation, ground and get clear, just knowing that the whole thing is a process of deep transformation. And this is a young, a child on the maternal side. So on your maternal side, it could be like a younger sister, a cousin, but somebody younger, niece, nephew, maybe you, or just child. Or another aspect of this can be the child within you, or who you were at that point in your evolution, right? Going through deep transformation on a mental level. So this may be being mirrored right now through the other, through another, through a young one on your mother's side, on your maternal or in your maternal lineage. So as we flow around here, this is kind of interesting because it's almost like creates like a spiral. We come into this really busy section, and I'll just say briefly, this is kind of fascinating too. We've got the young adults on your mother's side, a child again here on your father's side, and then we've got the great ones on the paternal lineage, your father's greats, greats. We've got a lot of planetary influence here. So we've got this, something's going on in the DNA, that practice that I suggested at the beginning of the invocation, to have boundaries, clarity, or guides and support in the other realms to really help you bring in the sensation of sovereignty, right? This knowing of sovereignty. Yeah, because we've got like, this is, oh, I'm sorry. This is Venus. This is the moon. It's a little smaller. Venus is a little bigger. We had the moon at the beginning, which is perfect. We're in this new moon. So back here I said Venus, but it's the moon. So movement, moving into this moon time within yourself, your own moon time as a sovereign being, tuning into your moon time, your emotions, right? And then looking at what is kind of out of reach, hidden, locked up. We have the lock around some old Saturnian energy, which is often authority figures, the masculine, and here's the divine feminine right there. So this idea of Venus, truth, love, and beauty, allowing that support to help you, to support you, to this idea of Venus, of truth, love, and beauty for you, to be the key or the greater influence, right? The direction that you move in, so that you break through, so that you unlock, so that you go a little bit deeper into the emotional impact of some things, maybe in your from your past or your just more recent future. But it's all connected to the star that you are, your star nations. Your grandmother on your mother's side is right here on your blueprint. Uh, um, Resting on top of that is this idea of transfiguration, that we are literally transforming, changing, and we're coming into our power. That's what that piece of amber is all about, coming into power through the sense of being connected to the earth, knowing the truth about the earth, feeling the sun, that we are influenced by the sun. All the whole cosmic landscape is having an influence by the sun and this photon belt. And Jupiter is amplifying that idea. So creating ceremony, ceremony that comes through you, that speaks to your truth, or that expresses your truth, is like the planting of the seed right now for what it is you wish for. Think about what you wish for when you take this introspective time and allow that to come through just the beingness of who you are. Here is your mother, aligned with the feminine, aligned with Pachamama, and resting on top of this idea of the mind, right? This is the seed. We're planting seeds actually in the mind, not, the metaphor is a seed goes into the dirt. But the dirt or the earth is us, right? And so we are planting a seed within the mind, this fertile mind, and we're wanting to see it then expressed through the physical. And so just know whatever this intention is you have, it's a part of the great mystery. Some of it is unknowable in a sense because it's so much of in a greater field. This idea of your work right now is important in that, like it might be work in the world more so than the work that you do to pay the bills. And just know, here's Rattle saying, call in what's true for you, create ceremony, experience and express this idea of you're totally taken care of. What you need will come to you, through you, for you. And that is resting on, that's Buffalo. And Buffalo is resting right on the heart, which is a beautiful piece of turquoise that is saying to us that it is time for to remember. It's like the soul is remembering. The soul is remembering that we are actually all about love, right? Love is what drives everything. Love is what creates. And not love like in a happy little Valentine card. Love in the higher frequencies of our consciousness. And here you are. This is so interesting that we are going through this phase of remembering. And within us, we have a little timekeeper, which is really cool. Let's see if we can locate the other one. This is one. And then I like to see what the other one is doing because they have a relationship with each other, which we know this is what quantum physics is all about, that whatever is affecting the one, it's affecting something maybe across the universe or just in a whole other place, right? So there's no time and space to create a physical boundary when we are in a high level of conscious awareness, right? And that is aligned with our heart, our passion. The crown is open, we're opening to this information coming in through the heart, the crown, the third eye, the throat. And we have the ancient ones on our mother's side really helping us to sift through this, decipher it all, right? Help propel us and move us forward through the fog, through what we haven't seen clearly before. And now we're gaining clarity in this during this Gemini new moon, and which is kind of ironic because it's coming through the dark. The truth is coming through the dark, and it's helping us to move forward into a new vision. We have the collective now upside down, our little jade frog, he's upside down, so that's kind of interesting. It's like, reminds me of the hangman, where it's like, taking on a new perspective. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's like it's bringing in something new, something not seen the way it was before. And so just know the whole collective is like kind of turned upside down on its back right now, or on its head. And when you are seeking, here's our other time keeper I mentioned, which is beautiful because we have one up and one facing belly up, belly down, and that's all about things moving. So things are moving, allow them to move with them, shift gears. Maybe it's a slow move, and I'm not saying that means it's fast. It could be just a slow move. It's one step at a time, which is okay too. But just know you're protected. Know that the insight with this idea of moving forward, how it's going to come through is a very uh, like through a wave of emotions, because here we have, back to the beginning, we have Nautilus here reminding us that the emotions are the reflection of deep wisdom, deep truth, deep understanding within us. You may also have community. We have Elkhorn here. And community could be really helpful right now in cutting through, breaking through, having a breakthrough, getting clarity, because we have Eagle Condor right on top of that, just, taking that broader perspective, taking the bigger vision. So it's a month to take in this greater vision, the bigger picture, and just cut away the old by seeing, not staying stuck in the old ways. Here we have the great ones on your mother's side, really supporting that notion too. And this idea of the emotions, we've got the second chakra resting underneath. So below these emotions, know that there's this strength, beauty, and wisdom that allows us to rebirth, right? To create, to co-create. And that brings us back around to the inquiry. And then there's this little offshoot here from that emotional state, which I already spoke about, but it brings us into the center point here, which is, and if you're feeling like you're in a fork in the road, go for the greater picture. This is the eye of God. Go for the different perspective. Go for something new. Go for something that helps you broaden your scope of what you are asking about, or the area of inquiry. And it could very well be about home. I know there's incredible migrations happening now with people. Who knows what's happening to critters? Everything is topsy-turvy. So just know that is really being amplified right now. Issues about home, and home being like where your heart is and where you feel you want to be. And the sun is really supercharging that idea of maybe finding new home, maybe finding new friends just where you are, or reconciling, completing something, as we said with Gemini, during this new moon within your family lineage. It could be that too with the young ones, right? That something's in transformation, because there's deep things happening on a frequency level, which there are times we can't even understand. Our mind cannot comprehend what that means on the greater picture, this evolutionary path that we're all on as souls. So with that, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up, and then I'm going to just say, here we have grandmother on your mother's side, your maternal grandmother right at the center, resting near the transfiguration and this idea of restoration of power. And a lot of that information, maybe these downloads, are going to lie in you acknowledging the star that you are and the star nation you belong to, who you belong to before you came here in physical form, on a deep, deep soul level. And that is like the crux of this diamond here, of this peak experience, this peak present moment. Right, that's where what's going on at the core. This return of power connecting us to knowing, remembering, and understanding our blueprint and why we came. And seeing that shift through the collective, right? Seeing this change and staying tapped into it through the amplification of this kind of this part of us that's the sun, that's the expressive part of ourself, our home, and ultimately this divine union with the self, because that's how we'll see the greater image of the eye of God. We will see as if we were seeing through the eye of God. I just love this piece. I don't know if it translates well on this video, but it's amazing. And again, it's facing down, so it's a more internal process. It's about seeing that within yourself first, so that then you can express that in simply being who you are. Thank you all for returning with me to close the circle. For those of you that follow the pattern or the process of the reading itself, with an invocation, we will close the circle, complete the invocation, and just feel that all this is already happening. Whatever you intended to receive, it's already happening. And we're going to close the circle with some rattling, just to, again, allow for theta, alpha theta state of the mind. And being in a state of gratitude and appreciation for this process of reading the bones, and that it brings guidance to us and beauty, strength, and wisdom to all those we come in contact with. In full faith, so be it. Aho, may we receive this wisdom with ease and grace. So, my friends, have a wonderful Gemini new moon 2023. And please reach out if you're interested in a one-on-one reading. If you're interested in a group reading, I absolutely love doing those. They're powerful and magical. And I will see you on the full moon to come.